We want to recognize that the Tunney's Pasture is located on the traditional territory of the Algonquin and Anishinaabe people who've lived on this land for millennia. We extend our respects to all First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people for their valuable past and present contributions to this land. We also recognize and respect the cultural diversity that First Nations, Inuit, and Métis people bring to the City of Ottawa. Welcome to this presentation on the plans to transform Tunney's Pasture from a single-use employment center into a vibrant, sustainable, mixed-use community integrated with surrounding neighborhoods while maintaining a strong federal presence. My name is Mary Jarvis, and I am the Director of Real Estate for National Capital Region with Canada Lands Company. I'm joined by my colleague, Jane Hayward, who is the Senior Project Manager for the Tunney's Redevelopment Project at Public Services and Procurement Canada.
Thank you, Mary. And thank you to all of you for taking the time to watch this video. By watching, you are part of a three-stage multi-year conversation about the redevelopment of Tunney's Pasture. We began with discussions with the local community and business associations, as well as political representatives last year. And while we continue to inform you, the public, we are also initiating our second stage, which we call Building a Shared Narrative. This is our opportunity to ask you what your priorities are, what is important to you about this redevelopment. In this presentation, you will hear about the Tunney's Pasture Master Plan, the work that has been undertaken since then, the guiding principles from which form the foundation upon which all our plans for the site will be redeveloped, and our next steps for this project. Once you have watched this presentation, we invite you to fill out our questionnaire, which is available on the Tunney's Pasture Engagement website at engage.clc-sic.ca. Now let's begin. Public Services and Procurement Canada. This project is being delivered by Public Service and Procurement Canada's Real Property Services. RPS marked its 180th anniversary in 2021. We serve 103 departments and accommodate over 267,000 employees in over 9 million meters squared of office space. We have expertise in many areas, including bridges, dams, and monuments. And we have a mandate to deliver on the greening government strategy, whose objectives are to prepare risk management plans to reduce the impacts of climate change, prioritize low carbon and climate resiliency for all new buildings and major retrofits, ensure low carbon emissions and achieve net zero by 2050 or sooner, and collaborate with employees, local and Indigenous communities to achieve these environmental objectives. We bring our expertise and priorities to this project. Our role in the redevelopment of Tunney's Pasture is to provide ongoing oversight of all federal office and government operations at Tunney's, coordinate with other government departments, align the guiding principles and targets of the redevelopment with the Government of Canada program requirements and objectives, including sustainability, protection of the environment, and provision of affordability. We lead Indigenous engagement and consultation and identify lands to be sold. Mary?
Thank you, Jane. I'll start with a brief introduction to Canada Lands Company. We are a federal crown corporation that specializes in real estate development and attractions management. We develop former federal properties, and we manage and operate the CN Tower and Downsview Park in Toronto, the Old Port of Montreal, and the Montreal Science Centre. We operate at arm's length from government. We are self-financing and receive no federal funds for our operations. We are subject to all municipal and provincial requirements. For 25 years, we have enriched Canadian communities and experiences by embracing the full potential of properties we own and operate. We pride ourselves in our consultation-based approach to pursuing community-oriented goals, environmental stewardship, and heritage conservation, along with commemoration with our projects across Canada, like Wateridge Village in Ottawa, Garrison Crossing in Chilliwack, and Curry in Calgary. We recently won Best Community Award in Edmonton for our village at Griesbach, and the City of Ottawa Urban Design Award for the Booth Street Complex here in Ottawa. Critical to our real estate development success is our inclusive and collaborative and comprehensive public engagement process. The collaborative model. Tunney's Pasture's redevelopment unveils a new working relationship between PSPC and CLC. Typically, CLC initiates the public engagement and planning work after the transfer of land from PSPC. For Tunney's Pasture, CLC is working alongside PSPC prior to sale. As you know, Jane has described the role of PSPC. CLC's role is, we will be responsible for planning work in accordance with the guiding principles, ensuring non-government redevelopment aligns with government priorities, overseeing public engagement programs and collaborating on Indigenous engagement, create dynamic residential and community amenity components, oversee infrastructure implementation, seek municipal approvals as required, and purchase and sell federal lands. By working collaboratively, we will optimize the land use and benefits to all stakeholders.
Tunney's Pasture redevelopment, key drivers and benefits. Why did we initiate the master plan in 2012? PSPC embarked on the master plan as we recognized that Tunney's Pasture was an underutilized federal campus in a critical central location that could benefit from the investment that we were making in the light rail transit and improve the environment for both our employees as well as the community. From the beginning, we wanted to focus on a transit-oriented development that integrated the community with a leading-edge employment node, guide long-term investment while achieving high standards in urban design, planning, and sustainable development with more effective and efficient use of the site, and ensure environmental benefits to reduce our carbon footprint, per capita water and energy use, and provide an enhanced urban ecology, and create a nationally significant sustainable employment center that attracts the next generation of employees and residents and supports and promotes success for diverse communities. And through the process, we will deliver on the key drivers and benefits that are listed here. A reimagined federal footprint that supports federal employees and program requirements while respecting the heritage of the site. New housing supply that delivers on the city's need for affordable housing. A connected, complete community that makes full use of public and other transit for safe, accessible, and walkable neighborhoods. New, green, open, accessible, and interconnected spaces throughout the sites and with existing communities. Opportunities for shared amenities and infrastructure for residents and employees. And we are committed to working towards these benefits with Indigenous peoples and you through a consistent and active engagement process. Tunney's Pasture Master Plan Guiding Principles. As part of the master planning process, a set of 7 guiding principles were developed with participation from the community. These principles provided the framework for decision-making about this project. They are the filter through which all flow, and they are: be a landmark, environmentally sustainable employment site, be an integrated and valued part of the larger community, be an attractive, safe, and complete employment site, be a connected and public transit-oriented development, provide a diverse mix of uses and arrangements of buildings, be flexible in its application, and maximize values and capitalize on existing assets and new opportunities. Tunney's Pasture Master Plan 2014. The master plan that was approved in 2014 and incorporated into the city's official plan highlights some of the exciting changes. A true live, work, play, mixed-use community providing public sector and private jobs for up to about 20,000 employees, as well as about 3,700 new residential units. Improved transportation network with new pathways throughout and a finer street grid within the site, providing enhanced community linkages, connectivity, and improved streetscapes. And a major public open space, including an urban plaza providing community focal points at the LRT station and an entire block devoted to a community park. Evolution of the master plan 2014 to 2018. Between these years, PSPC completed a series of secondary planning studies and reports to further inform the project implementation strategy. As a result of further analysis, the master plan evolved. The changes included a new commercial main street along Yarrow to support a 15-minute neighborhood to serve the needs of the residents, employees, and local community on site. Inclusion of complete streets with animated and taller ground floor uses, upper story setbacks to support wide boulevards and promote active at-grade uses. Furniture and planting zones with linear trees, green links between spaces, and bioswales. And improved sustainability supported by the new district energy system within Tunney's Pasture. Sustainability framework. As the plan evolved through 2014 to 2018, we remained committed to our guiding principles and objectives, including sustainability. We want Tunney's Pasture to be a landmark sustainable community that will support happier, healthier lives for everyone within the limits of our one planet. The framework for achieving this are the principles of one planet living, which is what ZB implemented down the road. The principles are health and happiness, equity and local economy, cultural and community, land and nature, zero carbon, sustainable water, local and sustainable food, materials and products, travel and transport, and zero waste. Each of these principles have key performance indicators, some of which, if implemented, would involve you as community members, such as having community gardens. In the shorter term, they will apply to planning, urban and landscape design, and building types and materials. The district energy system. The new federal district energy system at Tunney's is a critical step to achieving our sustainability objectives. The new state-of-the-art low-temperature hot water system will be interconnected with downtown and Gatineau and serve the National Capital Area as well as the 16 buildings at Tunney's Pasture. By 2025, we will reduce greenhouse gas emissions by 63%, and our objective is to reach net zero carbon by 2030 and provide reliable service for at least another 50 years. The new plant is designed to be architecturally pleasing, unobtrusive, and integrated into its surroundings. It will be located at the northwest corner of Tunney's Pasture campus near Columbine and Goldenrod, and is designed to enhance the public realm. Located 3 meters below grade, it will feature stunning views into the plant where the public will be able to see the boilers and chillers, and more importantly, a green roof park space above the public amenities. Construction has begun on the plant. The mound of earth that you see near Columbine and Parkdale is the fill that was removed for the construction of the foundation. It will be returned to the site by November 2022. The plant will be completed by 2025, and work has resumed on the installation of the cooling and heating pipes and will be completed in 2022. We encourage you to follow the ESAP story by going to their website at nationalcapitaldistrictenergy.ca. Mary will now speak to urban design.
Thank you, Jane. Most importantly, the proposed implementation plan is built on the guiding principles and government priorities. The urban and landscape design guidelines promote active transportation, such as walking, cycling, scooters, with complete streets and pathways to connect green spaces. A reduction and relocation of parking to support community and employment uses, new utilities and infrastructure to achieve guiding principles of reduced water and energy use and reduced carbon footprint. Road infrastructure will be designed to support smart cities. Provision of complete streets, incorporating road cross sections with sustainability principles and design guidelines at top of mind, and targeting an overall modal split of 70 active/transit trips to 30 automobile trips to fulfill sustainability objectives for the development.
PSPC implementation of the Master Plan 2018. After this additional analysis was completed, we landed on the implementation plan that you see on this slide. You will note the similarities to the master plan. The street grid remains the same, as do general land uses. But there are also changes. We condensed the office space to provide additional land for residential development, increase in the range, mix, and density of housing to further support affordability. The district energy affordability. The district energy heating and cooling plant is now located in the northwest corner, and there is more green space with a large park across from the community amenity that will be built above the heating and cooling infrastructure. In the longer term, 15 to 20 years, it was envisioned that the Banting building along the west side would be demolished and there would be a new street grid on the east side of the site. However, things have changed since 2018. Mary will speak to this.
Thanks, Jane. Considerations for implementation plan and divestiture strategy. Over the past 10 years, much has changed in and around Tunney's Pasture and within our community. We must consider the implementation plan, what will the roads and the streets look like, and the divestiture strategy, which lands will be sold to CLC and when, with a new lens. The plan for Tunney's Pasture will remain consistent with the guiding principles and consider a greater commitment to reconciliation with First Nations communities, post-pandemic realities of the federal footprint, the new City of Ottawa official plan, government climate and sustainability priorities, and the housing affordability crisis. How we address these 5 realities in the context of Tunney's Pasture Master Plan will be developed over time. CLC and PSPC are committed to engagement throughout the process.
Where we are today. Although we are reaching out to groups at Tunney's Pasture, our message is limited. We are not at the stage where we can identify the lands to be purchased by CLC, speak of the timing of the purchase and or where construction will start. And we can't tell you yet how Indigenous communities will be involved. These are early days. However, we anticipate that PSPC will finalize our office accommodation needs to allow this project to move forward as we are describing. Mary?
Thank you, Jane. CLC and PSPC are working collaboratively to answer these questions by meeting with government departments who are completing the review of the post-COVID federal office needs analysis and initiating infrastructure planning and design. A major component of this process moving forward will be public engagement. What is on the table and what is not? Canada Land's engagement will last many years and will include ongoing discussions on housing types, density, housing locations, and including affordable housing, the location and size of green space and park blocks, streetscapes, pedestrian and cycling access, and sustainability features. These elements will be outside of the engagement process. A discussion on the federal footprint, employee and employer matters, streetscape and vehicular access points to new buildings, and the timing of development, as there are variable factors involved.
But we would like to speak with you about the process going forward. In 2022, this year, we will be demolishing the Finance and Finance Annex, two buildings located at the corner of Tunney's Pasture Boulevard and Yarrow Boulevard. We are engaging the NCC and working towards an initial disposal in about 2023, 2024. Throughout the next few years, we will be collaborating with CLC and engaging with you and the Indigenous communities. Mary?
Thank you, Jane. Engineering design of roadways and services will begin this fall. We will look at overall site connectivity and the construction of new pathway connections to coincide with future development on surplus blocks. Engineering design, roadway, and services. Our first engagement with the community this fall will focus on what are complete streets and what do they look like to you, as well as elements to be included in the public realm. Stay tuned for notices of future meetings in the fall. Community engagement goals. Our community engagement goals are to rise above conventional programs, to have a process that gives communities a meaningful voice, and to create the conditions for a long-term relationship. We hope to build momentum and support that continues throughout the process, from approvals to site servicing, marketing, and sales. Respecting the master plan's guiding principles. We said earlier that the guiding principles are the filter through which all decisions flow. More specifically, the guiding principles set the conditions for engagement. Principle 2, to be an integrated and valued part of a larger community, gives the community a meaningful voice. Principle 2 will be the driving theme in all community discussions and a key success factor for the engagement process. From a development perspective, a lot has happened since 2014, and some of these trends should explicitly inform planning discussions at Tunney's, such as lessons from the pandemic or measures to support affordable housing. Your lived experience as community members provide a valuable perspective on the project as well. Community engagement, a three-stage process. We will learn from your lived experience through conversation, which develops and continues through three basic stages. Stage 1, initiated in the winter of 2021, involved the briefing of community stakeholders. Stage 2 is the development of community value statements for a fuller, richer articulation of the Tunney's Pasture vision and guiding principles. blended with community's experience and PSPC and CLC's most current objectives. The narrative that develops through these conversations forms the baseline repository of shared expectations and concerns, and it serves as a powerful lens to highlight aspirational nature of the project and through which potential decisions are viewed and assessed. Stage 3 is a multi-year, multi-phase stage and puts the community to work on a series of projects. We will start with roads and servicing and followed by the next phase in the redevelopment with individual development sites. Stage 1 and 2 are about framing the engagement and setting the table. Stage 3 is about putting the community to work on a series of projects framed by a shared narrative as a guide to discussions and evolving record of how community views the state of planning and its expectations for the future. The fall of 2022 and into 2023 will be devoted to engineering design and negotiating the transfer of private roads to the city. Over the next 4 years, PSPC will continue with Indigenous engagement, determine the nature of First Nations participation at Tunney's Pasture, as well as engagement with current and future federal clients at Tunney's Pasture. We hope to see transactions in 2024 or 2025.
Thank you very much, Mary, and thanks to all of you for participating today.